It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to ARL-TV's coverage of the iRacing Grand Prix series. This is week 2. This week, we're at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. My name is Lee Thompson, and with me today, I've got Dean Prescott in the commentary booth. Evening, Dean.
Hello, Lee. How's things?
Not too bad. Bit of a rush getting back from work, as it tends to be on a Sunday, but otherwise all good. And this week also, in the pit lane, we have Ryan Littlemore, keeping an eye out for us of any other events we might be missing. Evening, Ryan.
Evening, Lee. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So we have just a minute or so left until we're expecting the session now to come up, so we can get in and get started with another 5 minutes warm-up as normal before the race. Last week, well, we had an extremely eventful first lap, but a rather perhaps uneventful rest of the race. Hopefully we're expecting something a bit more from Silverstone this week, something that's a lot more suited to the FW31, and looking forward to seeing who we're going to get coming in the strength of field race this week.
Yeah, sorry, you'll just have to bear with me. I've just come straight from a race myself, so just trying to find my bearings.
Yeah, lots of rushing around today, as it tends to be. So just as a quick recap then, last week, Sonoma Raceway in California, we had, in our strength of field race that we saw, we had Luke McLean, who took pole position and the win, quite comfortably as well, streaking away from the rest of the field early on, with Stephen Michaels and Max DeLorco then bringing up the rest of the podium. We're expecting probably all three of the same drivers to be in this strength of field race again tonight, but we just need to wait and see who comes in. And again, Luke McLean has got pole position for this week as well. So we're just waiting for the session to come up as we speak.
Anything we should know about this track this week, Lee?
Well, as I say, this is much more suited, obviously, to the Williams FW31. So, high speed, as everyone knows. Here, Silverstone is one of the fastest circuits on the Grand Prix calendar. We're running, of course, the old Grand Prix circuit, if you like, compared to what they're currently running in real F1 at the moment, so before the arena section. And actually, the FW31, the 2009 car, that was the last season that they ran that circuit, so this car did actually run that exact circuit. So very, very fast. Fairly forgiving maybe on the curb, certainly compared to Sonoma Raceway last week. You can make a little bit more use of those at times. And again, unfortunately, we're expecting a no-stop race, I think. I think we were all hoping that Sonoma Raceway would perhaps be a bit of a one-off with an extremely long pit lane that was there, but actually it looks like it's going to be no stops again. we're actually running a 5-lap shorter race than we were back in season 3, which is when we were last at the Grand Prix circuit. So that seems to be the problem that we've got. Really, it's a real shame taking that one stop away, Dean.
Yeah, the sessions are now up, so looks like people have just started to join. It looks like we have 3 splits again this week, so
Cool, good
plenty of numbers
attendance.
again.
And I think I haven't had a chance to have a proper look today, I have to say, but I think we have had a good few official races over the weekend as well. I think a couple went on Friday, and obviously the usual few on Saturday. So attendance is looking a little bit more promising than it was at Sonoma. Alright, so just getting into the session as we speak. Are you in yet, Dean? Still waiting?
I'm just loading up, but I'm going to have to close and reopen due to triple screens, so it's alright for some, really, isn't it?
Yeah, here's me struggling away on lots of little windows on my single screen. Alright, so just joining now. How about you, Ryan? How are you getting on? Are you into the session yet? Evidently not.
Oh. Right, I'm now in, so let me just fix my graphic settings. And then rejoin. Now it looks like we've got Daniel Lopez in there as well this week, so.
Okay, good. So another DWC driver then. So he was missing last week. I'm not sure if I saw he even put a qualifying time in for Sonoma last week, so perhaps he decided to give that a miss. So I'll run us through the grid then, now that it looks like we're loaded in okay. So again, as we're saying, we've got several DWC drivers looking like are going to be getting any action. So quick run through the grid. Luke McLean, pole position again. I believe he had the overall pole again this week, so that was a 1 minute 20.397. We've got Max DeLorco, so A-class driver, a 1 minute 20.5, just scraping ahead of Stephen Michaels in P3. So that was our podium from last week, so Max is just nipping in front of Stephen Michaels for now. And then P4, we have Tommy Nilsson, P5, Javier Soto, P6, Jorn Jens, P7, Troy Schultz, P8, Alex Simpson, P9, Isaac Price, P10, Antoine Higlin, P11, Marcus Caton, P12, Sam Kumo, P13, Justin Lindsay, P14, Jonas Nukarinen, P15, Michael Goman, P16, Mohamed Espatal, and P17, Johnny Hagner. So that's our grid that we're looking at for now.
Some surprising faces in there, I see.
Yeah, so we've got some of the same drivers. Probably half the grid is here for our Sydney field race last week, and then we've got, let's say, a few different faces coming in as well. We've got currently just under a minute left. It looks like for warm up before the grids will be ready.
I'm still frantically trying to get set up and sorted. So.
But guys, who do you think out of these competitors today is going to take the checkered flag today?
Well, I mean, looking at the race last week, Ryan, Luke McLean really stormed away. So we've got to look at Luke McLean to start us off. Otherwise, really, there wasn't a huge amount to choose between then McLean, DeLorco, and Michaels. Perhaps Michaels had the pace a little bit over DeLorco in the first half race, but actually it seemed that for the second half, their lap times were fairly similar. So that's got to be what we're looking at as our podium. Unless anyone else can push through surprising, but otherwise it's probably going to be sort of battles through the grid from there. Really.
What about you, Dean? Who get a win today?
Same as last week. I think the top guys are just going to battle it out as normal, and then racing us in the mid pack, which I'm sure we can keep an eye on.
Right, so here we are, gridding up. I'm going to make sure I don't miss a start as I almost did last week. Just waiting for the rest of the grid to come on for now. So again, just a quick reminder, the grid we're looking at, McLean in pole position, Max DeLorco, P2, Stephen Michaels, P3, Tommy Nilsson, P4, Javier Soto, P5. That's the top 5 we're looking at.
So we've got 30 seconds.
So it's tricky starting grid here at Silverstone. That start-finish line is so far back on the start-finish straight. A lot of the competitors are on the corner, on the bend there. It's really only the top 4 positions that have got a good straight run.
Possibly all the way back down to Alex there in P8. He may be able to get through.
Okay, so the revs are building. Here we are for week 2, Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, iRacing Grand Prix series. Waiting for the lights to turn green, and we're away. It looks like a fairly clean start all round to begin. No carnage as they all enter into cops, flying in. It looks like Max Delorco, Stephen Michaels side by side going into cops there. And it looks like Max just about got the edge of him. So Max Delorco holding on to P2 with Stephen Michaels and P3. Sorry.
Looks like everyone's through.
So good clean starts. This is what I want. There's been a little bit of carnage through the rest of the week, I believe, and a little bit of upset of some of those first lap manoeuvres.
Some kilos sliding away. Doesn't look like he's got any damage though, so that's a good sign. A little bit of contact there through the right-hander.
Oh, and side by side going into Vale there. That didn't look good. Who came out of Vale?
Oh, and I think Tommy Nielsen has parked the car.
Shame we're already halfway through first lap. We're down by one driver. At the front, they're looking pretty clean still. So we've got Luke McLean P1, Max Delorco P2, Stephen Michaels P3.
Justin Lindsay's picking up a bit of pace, but still trying to get used to the feel of the car. This comes under a lot of pressure.
And Max Delorco getting very, very loose coming out of the final corner there, coming out of Luffield. So going to give Stephen Michaels a little bit of a run maybe through Cops and then down into Maggots Beckett. We'll see how close he can get. Okay, so after lap 1, let's have a quick run through our top 10. So P1 is Luke McLean. He's streaking away already. He's given a good couple of seconds, second and a half gap to Max Delorco in P2. Stephen Michaels closely behind in P3, so that's very familiar from last week at Sonoma where Stephen Michaels was really harassing Max Delorco there for the first few laps. Then we have P4, Javier Soto. P5, Troy Schultz. He had a real mare of a start at Sonoma last week. After that, we have Alex Simpson. Then we have Antoine Higelin. We have Isaac Price. And then we have Jorn Jens. That's our top 10 that we're looking at currently.
Yeah, as Marcus Catton has just jumped, has overtook Jonas up to 10th place, got him down the, I think it's I can't remember what the corner is. It's a long straight towards. That's Hanger Straight. That's it. Hanger Straight. Up into 10th place, Marcus.
So there's plenty of stuff happening on the screen at the minute. As you can see, the camera's jumping here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, Alex Simpson's under a lot of pressure through the final complex coming onto the start-finish straight. So I think we should be keeping a close eye, see how much pressure he comes under coming into Maggots Beckett's from Higelin. Very, very close behind. So doesn't look like we're going to get a run coming out of Cops, but he's under a lot of pressure, is Alex Simpson at the moment. So we've got a good little couple of groupings going on. Yeah, hopefully some good battling as we go through the rest of the race.
But Justin Lindsay now under a lot of pressure through Maggots.
Oh yeah, all over the back there is Johnny Hagner. So he's going to get a run. Wide. So they're going to get a good momentum coming down a Hanger Straight.
All 3 in a row.
Yeah. So Patol gets to the inside, but Wisey just backs out of it early. So all as they come out towards Vale and then into Club.
Johnny's looking very racy, he's trying to get past Justin wherever he can. So
very different lines there coming out of Club. Johnny really holding that inside tight line, whereas Justin Lindsay letting it run out to the curve. It's not a huge amount of difference in the line there. It's more just how the car feels as you came through the first section of Vale and then letting the car take the position really that it wants to take.
My camera just jumps up to Isaac Price, up in 8th position. I'm not quite sure who he has behind him, but he has Antonio in front of him. Sure, I've just said that name wrong, but...
And so again at the front, Luke McLean's streaking away. He's really pulled quite a gap in that last lap on Max Delorco, but equally Max Delorco isn't under so much pressure now from Stephen Michaels, so still line astern, but just a little bit more breathing space, a bit more time just to settle in and relax as I go through this first section of the race. We're looking at 30 laps here today, and we're already through onto lap 4.
So setup wise this week, what's the wings like? Are they low, high?
Well, really, the current sort of the FW31 build that we're looking at with iRacing, every setup really is based on a high downforce setup as far as I know. I'd be very surprised if anyone goes too much further on that. So the front wing is always on max downforce, and then the main difference that I've been seeing is choices of rear wicker that people are going for. So there's some little bit of variation maybe on the rear wing. Depending on whether somebody wants to sacrifice their top speed down Hanger Straight and really be able to nail those fast sections of corners. We've got some of the fastest corners in the world at this circuit. So there's a little bit of variation in rear downforce maybe. So perhaps we'll see that's a little bit of changes develop if anybody's able to get a real run.
Looks like Alex has just lost a position now as well. So.
Yeah, Antoine able to get through, and it's a very close area in that gap between knows what 4 cars. We have Antoine, Higelin, we have Simpson, we have Price, we have Jens, all very, very close together as they head through Copse there into turn 1. So Alex is straight on the back again, hustling, so he's not dropping back, but through Maggots Beckett's is very, very difficult to follow so closely. You lose so much downforce in that dirty area again that we kept talking about all week, all race long last week at Sonoma. Troy Schultz also come under a bit of pressure now, so we have Troy Schultz and Xavier Soto in P4 and P5. So, or Schultz is for one pressuring rather. So, yeah, just as they're coming out of club, very, very close again. Different lines, one holding to the inside, one running out wide.
Is that just to break the toe, or?
Possibly, but as I say, it's more just, it depends on the line you get coming out, a tight chicane going into Vale, and really you don't want to fight the car too much. If it wants to stay to the inside, you let it. If it's struggling to stay to the inside, you just have to go with it and keep your momentum.
As Isaac's just spun.
Oh yeah, getting into the complex there, just about keeping it together. So again, we've got a good grouping in this sort of back of the top 10 here. Really good close racing that we have at the moment. And Marcus Caton is also hassling Jorn Jens as well as they're coming in towards Maggots Beckett. So again, we've got some good little groupings going on here as we're heading through this lap 6 now through the first half of the circuit.
And as we said all last week, McLean is just streaking away. So now pull up a 3-second gap back to Delarco. So.
Yeah, so only on lap 6 as well. So that's really quite a significant difference this early on. Half a second a lap that we're looking at.
McLean is still on the back of Delarco. Not quite as close as what you would hope for, but maybe that's just the dirty air just making him hold it back a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've really got another train of cars. So just even a moment ago when I looked, Troy Schultz and Javier Soto were in a little pairing on their own, but now they're really being caught by the cars behind. So we have Higginen right behind, Simpson's right behind Soto as well, with Jens and again Caton all in close proximity. So we've maybe got a little bit of a train developing here with Soto at the front of it and Troy Schultz just gapping away slightly at the front.
Alex seems to be dropping off a little there though.
Yeah, I think Higginen has really got a good run on Soto here. So as he comes through Maggots Beckett's, we'll see whether he's going to be able to keep that. Again, it's very, very tough through those fast corners where you're losing that downforce. See whether he can get back onto the back of Soto there at the end of Hanger Straight. And he is closing. That slipstream is having a good effect. So that could be that rear wing dip. Soto's going defensive. Higginen trying around the outside, but it was always going to be tough unless you were already right alongside going in.
He's got the run on him again though.
He has, absolutely, going up the inside into Vale. Oh, yes.
Very late on the
driving.
brakes.
So Soto didn't turn in. And then Alex just getting a little bit caught there coming out, getting caught behind Soto. So now he's lost a place to Jens as well. But Jens, sideways Soto. And Jens sideways as well. So Alex has lost a position and gained a position in just a corner or two there. So good action already. This is already more action than we had at Sonoma Raceway last week, so this is promising rest of the race. I'm seeing on spectator chat that we're thinking Javier Soto's got a little bit of damage at some point as well, so whether that was just coming out of club there or elsewhere, I'm not sure. And that would explain why Soto's just been dropping back a little bit from Troy Schultz as well, who we saw in very close together a minute ago.
It looks like Justin Lindsay's going to get a lot of pressure back in 12th position there.
We really have got battles all over the track. You're jumping around well at the moment.
As I say that, Justin has just jumped down to 14th position, so... There's Sam Kuhnhall right behind him.
So what position is Sam Kuhnhall at the moment? So Sam is in...
Sam's 15th.
15th, so he must have had a
14th.
problem. Yeah, he must have had a problem earlier on, because he started a little bit higher up than I think. So P12, not by much. So he's not had a great start to race. Hopefully he'll build back through. Of course he did, yeah.
Brackets.
Alex Simpson under pressure again. This time I think it's from Marcus Caton as they're coming out of club corner. So
Justin's just gone deep. Just saw that Sam through.
and Javier Soto struggling again with that damage. He's just about to lose another 2 positions as they're coming into the final section of the circuit into the complex. So that damage really is costing Soto time. And maybe now that Soto's been shuffled down and he's not caused that slight blockage, everyone's just spread out a little bit more again now. So just again, quick run through the top 10 that we've got at the moment. We've got Luke McLean, P1 still, 4.5 seconds into the lead, with Max Delorco P2, Stephen Michaels P3, Troy Schultz P4, Antoine Higelin P5, Jorn Jens P6, Alex Simpson P7 with Marcus Caton close behind in P8, Isaac Price P9 and Eunice Nukarin in P10.
Still, Luke McLean is, again, there's no fault in this guy. He's 4.4 seconds up on that last lap, so he's just pulling away every single lap.
Then Stephen Michaels just starting to close again on Max Delorco, so that could be another battle developing that we're going to see again soon.
Closest battle is this one with Alex Simpson. So there's not much between them. You see Max Delorco just taking his normal line. Just sucking up this pressure, and fingers crossed he had that little spin, didn't he, last week? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Michaels did a really good job of hustling and pressuring Max, and he just had a little bit of a moment coming over the crest at Sonoma before turn 4, and was very lucky really to keep it out of wall and then comfortably bring it home into P3 at the end of the race.
Alex Simpson right on the back of Yoni here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to get a good run trying to go around the outside of Copse, and it looks like he might just get that position. Yoni's going to back out of it. Still side by side.
It was Sam Kumo actually, not Alex, sorry.
Yeah, but Kumo got that position, so see if we can keep that as they come. Oh, a little touch. Oh no! Oh. So they're just so close coming into Maggots Beckett's there, but Yoni just touched the back of Sam, and that's going to be a lot of damage for both of them there. So much contact, again and again repeated. That's a real shame for both of them. It's a good close racing until they entered Beckett's there.
Yeah, I can see a bit of damage onto the nose of Sam actually there.
Yeah, they really did get tangled up well. So again, that's just helped spread the top of the field out a little bit again. So still it looks like our closer battle for now is probably Max Delorco with Stephen Michaels behind, Troy Schultz, and actually Higelin is making progress. So Higlin's been coming through the field. So he was in P10 on the grid, and he's now up to P5, closing on Troy Schultz in P4. So he's really been the man on the move, and he wasn't a racer that we saw last week at Sonoma. So yeah, I think that's going to be maybe a potential for a next change of position.
Michaels is still within that second gap 1 second gap to Delarco, so he's trying everything he can to pull him in, but whatever he tries, he must be just dropping off a little bit. So
yeah, absolutely. And we have seen that cars can follow fairly closely here at the circuit so far. Some of that may have been difference in pace or damage, like we saw with Soto early on. But I think if Stephen Michaels can get a little bit of a run, he may be able to hang with him through some of the faster sections to then have a good go at the end of the straight, end of Hangar Straight.
such a wide line that they take through coming into the final few corners. It's quite unbelievable how quick they can take that corner, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, as they come through bridge, I mean that's going to be flat depending on fuel level, and it's so fast then going into Priory, into that very fast left-hander, braking hard into the tighter final section of corners. So it looks like Hugner has pitted for repairs after his contact with Sam Kumo, and he's come out just behind the lead as a lap down.
Also, somehow actually stayed out, but he's full 10 seconds off his last lap. So,
what do we have you got your timing up running again this week, Dean? What are we looking at as the fastest lap so far for the race?
Fastest lap so far, or just last lap actually, was McLean with a 22.4. So 1:22.4.
Okay, so running at a strong pace then. So pole position was a 20.4. So they're running just 2 seconds off the pace with still quite a lot of fuel in. I mean, we're not even halfway through the race yet. So I think by the end of the race we can see them coming right down towards those qualifying times.
Let's see if we can find the quickest. (22.3) Luke McLean. Lap
yeah,
10.
absolutely. So bang on 2 seconds off pole position then. So yeah, that's a strong pace that these guys are running. Our two main battles at the moment, the cameras are flicking between Max Delorco, P2, Stephen Michaels, P3 as we know, and then also Troy Schultz and Antoine Higelin battling away for that position as well.
So, Ryan, anything jumping out at you so far?
Well, I've got a couple of battles going on. We've got Troy in pole position. He's really under pressure from 5th place Higlin. He's about, I'll probably say, about 7 tenths behind, but he's in the slipstream. Is Higlin on the Hangar Straight? I think he was quicker on the last lap than Troy was by about 2 tenths of a second. So possibly a good little scrap to go on there for 4th place. Also, I think you're watching it as well as Max and Michaels are still battling about half a second. As Michaels is really pushing this car as he's going under the bridge and into the final sector here. And do you think, guys, that Michaels could possibly get past Max at some point during this race?
I think we could possibly see it. I mean, he's as close as we've seen him coming through Brooklands and then Luffield here onto the start-finish straight. So if he can get a good run coming out of Copse and then even through Maggots Beckett's, then that's the main opportunity that Stephen Michaels is probably going to have coming at the end of Hangar Straight into Stowe.
Yeah, Max just had a little wiggle then coming out of the final corner, so...
Yeah, and Stephen Michaels is able to gain as he comes out of Copse, so if he can hold that sort of gap through Maggots Beckett's, which can be so difficult to do, and then out onto Chapel. And he's not far behind, but let's see if they can get the run.
Yeah, Michael just had a tighter line through Maggots then. Coppets, yeah. I'll put my teeth back in at some point, I'm sure.
And so even with that slipstream that Stephen Michaels had down Hangar Straight, but he was gaining a little bit, but not massively. So maybe it was just not a great run coming out of Maggots Beckett's Chapel, or maybe it's just that slight difference in rear wing settings. And again, very different lines there coming out of Copse. Very scruffy, if you like, coming out as he's trying to take that wide line, getting the power on as hard as he can, whereas Max Lorca was tight and neat all the way through.
Just a notable battle going on down the order, and the number 15 car of the Apex Racing car of Justin Lindsay is really under pressure from the number 13 car of Michael Gomen. About 9 tenths behind, but Gomen was probably about 8 tenths quicker than Justin on that last lap. So Justin's going to be a bit under pressure here from Michael. But I know Justin is a very quick driver, and I know you know as well, Lee, what Justin's capable of. But you think you can try and hold off Michael at this point, or do you think Justin's going to be under pressure big time?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, with such difference in that last lap, you said 8/10. I mean, that's going to be tough to try and hold off.
Oh, and Michael just looked like he was going to attempt to move, but Bertrand did lift off and didn't want any contact, so sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. Interrupt away, not a problem at all. So yeah, they're coming through that final section. Very different lines before they come into Luffield there. So that could give a little bit of a run for onto Lindsay there for Goman. It's good to see battles all through the field this week. So unfortunately at Sonoma last week we lost so many drivers in that first lap, but really then we didn't have a huge amount else going on throughout the rest of the field.
No, I was just following Justin there. I'm still following Max up at the front. He's still under a lot of pressure.
Yep, I think the gap is 2 tenths if I'm...
And so again, Stephen Marcus is trying all he can to try and get a good run out of this final corner onto the start-finish straight. It's very, very close, a little bit sideways as he comes out. That's why he had ended up quite far from that curb on the exit. But again, he's close, and if you can hold that distance through Copse, then we'll see what you can do out the other side. A little bit wide for Max, or it's a little bit sideways. It's really quite lucky there. If you just touch that AstroTurf there on the outside, easily it can throw you straight to the inside wall on the other side of the track. So again, with that, Stephen Michael's very, very close coming out the exit there of Chapel, and we'll see if he can keep that run.
A lot closer this time.
And he's gaining on him a little bit coming out of there, but not enough to really look at considering a move down into Stowe. There's not much of a braking zone into Stowe there, so you've really got to already be alongside to even have a chance.
Just actually looking at Michael's lines, he does look like he's taking tight lines, so would suggest he's got more downforce rather than straight line speed.
Just one driver I want to mention in this race in a minute who's on the move is the number 5 car of Jorn Jens, who's in 6th place. He's catching up to the back of Higlin and Troy as they have been battling for the past 2 laps, and Jorn's he's about 2 tenths quicker than both of them at this point, so he's not that far off these two and could possibly be challenging for a top 4 place here today. Don't know if you guys have got up yet or not.
Okay, so we're going to do a lap on board with Stephen Michaels as he's hustling Max DeLorca. So they just come over the start-finish line into Copse, a little bit of a lift down a gear through Copse, trying to run out to that curb if you can. Max, you can see, took a very wide line coming out there. Into Maggots and then Beckett's, cut that corner as much as you can on the inside and the corner on the left here, but don't want to really get onto this final curb on the right. Very, very wide, bring it as wide as you can coming out that exit so you can get on the power as early as you can come on to Hanger Straight. Because like Stephen Michaels is a little bit further back on Max than we've seen on previous laps, but again very, very quick into Stowe, down just a couple of gears, hugging that inside on the power early. You can run over that outside curve quite happily as you head into Vale here, hard on the brakes, slowest point of the circuit, down into first gear, second early probably, trying to get on the power as early as you can. Really, really difficult getting on the power out of club there. Again, different lines that you can choose, but the cars just wanted to squirm around the whole time. Into Abbey, down into second gear probably, cutting that curve on the inside and on the right as well. And then into Bridge, so probably flat, maybe a slight lift depending on fuel levels. Into Priory, tight to the left on the inside, and then hard onto the brakes. First gear again probably as they come around to hold that tight line. Going to be in the middle of the circuit here, coming into the final corner. Max Wing C just having a little bit of oversteer, but controlling it perfectly. Out wide as you can over the curb to get that run as early as you can, get that power coming onto the start-finish straight. And that's the start-finish line gone already as they head back into Copse now.
Sounds like a very fast lap.
Well, it is. I mean, there's really only 2 braking zones of any particular note, and the first one was Vale at the bottom of the circuit, hard and brakes down into first, and the next one really is going to be Abbey. Those are the heaviest braking zones that you're going to have on the circuit. Rest of it, there's not a huge amount of slow speed stuff. It's very, very quick all the way through.
Higlin is all over the back of Troy here. I think this is the closest he's been all race, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Getting a good run out of Maggots Beckett's there, trying to get onto the back of him into Stowe. So he might just try and be inside here. Yeah, Troy, as long as it stays wide, gives some space. There's that car's width on the inside. They're going to be side by side, perhaps coming into Vale. Higgin switches to the inside. tries to brake late, but thinks better of it. And again, Troy gives him a little bit of space just to be sure. So Higgins going to get a good run now coming out of club. And a little bit of contact was there. So both squirming around, trying to get the power on. And it looks like Troy's going to hold this coming into Abbey.
This just means Yoni can just hook up onto the back of them and fingers crossed pick up 2 places.
Absolutely, and perhaps Alex Simpson won't be far behind doing the same as well, joining this group, making it a group of 4. Higginen goes to the inside into there. Oh, Troy gave him space again, but it's really upset his line. Higginen up the inside, breaking early. He's going to hold this position now coming into the final corner. Jorn Jens a bit sideways. Alex Simpson's going to go up the inside of Jorn Jens. Again, he's leaving that car space on the inside. Good clean racing, and it was all as it was. So Higginen made that place on Troy Schultz, then Jorn Jens next, and Alex Simpson still behind. Great little run through over that final section there, through the final complex.
Looks like Alex just pulled out of that one, thinking of maybe just a longer race for him. Just to finish the race and get some points. So.
Jorn Jens now all over the back of Troy Schultz as they come through Maggots Beckett. See if he can get a run coming down to the end of Hanger Straight there. And he's looking, Jorn Jens to the inside, going to go up the inside of Troy Schultz.
The inside.
Very, very close, a little bit of contact again, yeah, absolutely. Looks like Jorn Jens may have a little bit of damage, a little bit slower there, and he's up into Vale. But Jorn Jens is hanging on, he's trying to come back. Oh, contact again! Oh, so looks like Jorn Jens came out a little bit better out of that. I mean, it looked like a racing incident on that first view. It looked like Jorn Jens just trying to hang around the outside, and it just wasn't quite enough space to stick in there. And is that Alex Simpson I just saw going really slowly, or was that Sam Kumo? No, it was Sam Kumo, I think, letting the field go by, going very slowly up the inside.
Yeah, Sam is 4 seconds slower than everybody else on the circuit at the minute, so that damage seems to be costing him dearly from earlier on. Looks like Alex may have some damage. That was last lap was a 26.
Yeah, not surprised after all the manoeuvres that were going on there. It's, just get out of line on a couple of corners and that's going to affect your lap time, let alone any damage. Okay, quick run through the top 10 and we've had a little bit of action those last few laps. So again, Luke McLean still P1 as we know, away and comfortable. Good couple of corners ahead of Max Delorco, who's built a little bit of a gap now on Stephen Michaels. So Max Delorco P2, Stephen Michaels P3, still keeping him company. And then behind we have Higgelen in P4, making a good gap now to that group behind. Troy Schultz P5, Jorn Jens P6, and he's got Marcus Caton all over the back of him going into Vale there, looking up the inside, backing out of it at the end. So Marcus Caton in P7. Alex Simpson then, so we think with damage, is just dropping back from that group now in P8. Sam Kumo is a lap down, Isaac Price P9, closely followed by Nukarinen in P10 as they come out of clubs. Nukarinen is trying to get a run on Price as they come into Abbey.
Yeah, just having a quick look at Alex's car. It does look like he's got some damage on the nose, just behind the front right suspension, as he just runs wide slightly. And some damage to his side pod as well, so...
Yeah, not surprised from what we saw there. So we've got 10 laps to go now, so 2/3 of the race already gone. Great action still through the field, lots of close racing.
Yeah, Alex's last lap was a 25-1, so...
Yeah, looks like the closest battle we've got at the moment is between Jorn Jens and Marcus Caton, looking for P6 and P7. So Marcus is getting very, very close to the back of Jorn Jens again as they come through Maggots Beckett's Chapel onto Hanger Straight. He's going to try and get that run again into Stowe. It's probably going to be a little bit too far back, but we'll probably show his car and just try and make sure Jens is thinking about him behind, trying to distract him in his mirrors.
So we're
and so Jorn Jens a little bit wide. Sorry, they're coming out of the exit of Vale, so that could give Marcus Caton a good run coming out of club. So a little bit quick going into Vale. It's very easy to carry just too much speed going into that slow chicane and just struggling to get that run early onto club.
Yeah, just having some problems with the stream at the minute. Looks like the cameraman has just lost his connection.
So we'll get it back up again for you guys as early as we can. So in the meantime, we'll try and just keep your audio commentary going. So try and keep you abreast of anything that changes. And really, we're still looking at Jorn Jens and Marcus Caton being the closest run battle that we have in the top 10 at the moment.
Just as well, we've got a good battle going on for 9th place. Isaac Price is really under pressure as he's coming out the final corner onto the main straight. He could be overtaken here. Point with, I believe, it is the 17 car.
Yeah, so Nikarinen, absolutely. So reasonably close coming out of Cops towards Maggots Beckett. So I don't think we're going to be looking at a run on this lap, but certainly he's going to be keeping him in close company for the rest of the race, trying to hassle him and hustle him through the rest of the track.
Also, another name to mention as well is that we haven't talked about in this race is Mohammed Patel. He's in 12th place at the minute. He's not that far off this battle going on for 9th place, so he's roughly about 3 seconds. So if these keep battling for position and losing time, Patel could have a great chance of getting into the points, and he's just taking it nice and smoothly throughout this race, not getting into any contact with anyone. And that's what you have to do. Slow, smooth, consistent racing will get you into the points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Justin Lynn is under a lot of pressure down there in 13th place. From Golan, is it? Goman.
Yeah, and Troy Schultz is just slowly falling back into the grips of Jorn Jens and Marcus Caton now. So even with Caton maybe taking something away from the pace of Jorn Jens by distracting him, actually they've still managed to gain on Troy. So maybe he had a little bit of an error that we missed off camera. Not that you guys unfortunately are quite seeing the cameras at the minute. But yeah, really now Troy Schultz is under pressure from Jorn Jens rather than Jorn Jens being under pressure from Marcus Caton. We are still struggling to get these pictures back, guys, so we'll try and get them back as soon as we can. We're just not quite able to get back onto the member site, so perhaps there's an iRacing server issue in a minute. We'll try and keep you informed.
Fingers crossed this doesn't affect the stream. Not the stream, the race itself.
Yeah, hopefully not. I haven't noticed anybody dropping, so fingers crossed it will be, as you say, not affecting anyone else in this race. So pictures will be coming back momentarily then, if they're not already. And we're still watching that battle between Troy Schultz and Jorn Jens and Marcus Caton, who again, Marcus has just dropped back a little bit now. It's really between Troy Schultz and Jorn Jens at the moment.
Well, Price has gone a bit really wide coming into the Abbey chicane, and he's really under pressure here from the number 17 car of Eunice. I think I've got that right, I'm not really sure. But Sato is now really closing the gap now. It's about half a second between him and these two cars in front of him as they're coming onto the main straight now to start lap number 24. I'm correct, I'm not sure. But my...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're on to lap 24 now, Ryan. No, you're absolutely right. So we've only got 6 laps of the race left.
Looks like Justin is still holding back Goman, so he's soaking this pressure up quite well, and I'm sure he'll be happy to just be in the top split actually, Justin, and to finish the race.
Yeah, Justin gave Sonoma a skip last week. I think he didn't really like the look of the circuit, as did a lot of others. But yeah, I think we can expect to see Justin Lindsay in the top split for a lot of races, and our other ARC driver Liam Williams just missed the top split, it looks like, this week.
So it looks like we're all back and pictures are coming to you again live. As we can see, Jens putting some pressure on. Just as it jumps back to Jonas.
Yeah, those are really looking like our two main battles at the moment. So it's P5, P6 and P7, and then back there with Price back in P9, P10, P11. That's our two main battles that we've got going on at the moment.
Looks like Michaels has just dropped off the back of DeLoco now. There's no full second behind him, which is probably the furthest back I've seen him all race.
Yeah, I mean his early race pressure that he put on Max hasn't quite worked out as it did last week at Sonoma. So yeah, perhaps he's just decided now just to not do anything silly and just make sure he brings it home in that strong third position.
So Lee, now we're back. Going through the top 10 again?
Yeah, okay, so the top 10 positions, give me one moment. Okay, so top 10, P1, Luke McLean still, as expected. P2, Max DeLorco, so they've got the whole of Beckett's Chapel between P1 and P2 at the moment. Stephen Michaels, as you said, dropped back a little bit from Max DeLorco, but still in that very comfortable and strong P3. We have Antoine Higlin in P4, so he's really all on his own now since he's made that progression up through from sort of 10th position on the grid. We have Troy Schultz, closely followed by Jorn Jens. That's one of our closest battles, remember, on the track at the moment. So Troy in P5, Jorn Jens in P6. Marcus Caton just drops back a little bit from that group in P7, and then a big gap back then after that to Alex Simpson in P8, who, as we said, has got damage from that contact with, it was Jorn Jens in fact earlier on in the race. P9 then, Isaac Price, closely followed still by Eunice Nakarinen, so that's in P10. So yeah, again we've got those two main gaps.
Sorry to disturb you then, Lee.
Yeah,
Jorn Jens has made it past Troy.
Absolutely, so just needs to get that good run now coming out of club, make sure Troy can't get just as I say that, Jorn Jens does have a big wiggle trying to get on that power, struggling to get on the power. Marcus Caton now close behind on Troy Schultz as well. Troy Schultz goes defensive, but it was so close to Marcus, it looked like could have been some contact. Certainly Marcus Caton was worried that there was going to be contact there and reacted. So Jorn Jens up into that position, Troy Schultz down one and Marcus Caton as he was.
Yep, Soto has got past and he's in 10th place now, and I think Eunice has made a mistake in the Magnum Beckett complex and had a really bad exit coming onto the Hanger Straight. So Soto, I apologise, is up into the top 10 now.
Cool, so good, even with that damage that he sustained earlier on, he's managed to hang on to those point positions for now.
But the question is, will he catch up to Isaac Price? He's got a gap now of about 1.5 seconds, I would say, from good battle going on for 10th. But do you think Soto can get past Isaac with 5 laps to go?
Well, we certainly know that Soto's got the pace. You know, he was top 5 in the strength of field race that we watched last week, and it's just how much of a problem that damage has been for him. So it looks like our battle between Jorn Jens, Troy Schultz and Marcus Caton has just settled down now that Jorn Jens has gotten by. So really we're looking at Javier Soto and Nukarinen just behind as our two closest cars on track at the moment.
Didn't look like a very nice move up from Troy Schultz, actually. I think he saw him a bit too late and then just moved over far too.
Yeah, I agree. He did seem like he went defensive very late coming to Abbey. So we'll have a look at the replay at the end of the race, perhaps. But I think Marcus Caton was just able to react in time, at least. So Javier Soto is making up a little bit of ground, perhaps on Isaac Price just in front, but really Nukarinen is the one who's able to keep closest and still hound Soto for now as they come into the final complex again. Soto gets a little bit sideways coming in through Priory there, and that really allows Nukarinen to run as they come out of Brooklands onto Luffield onto the start-finish straight again.
Yeah, just a lot of time there actually with that little slide. So.
Yep, as that last lap, Isaac did set a 23.8 on that one, and Soto set a 23.1. So nothing really in the difference between the two. But if I don't think Soto might not have a chance of getting through. But you never know in these races, anything can happen, and hopefully we could have a good, exciting battle between these two with a few laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nukarinen had a little bit of a problem at the beginning of the lap as well there, so he's really dropped a long way off the back of Soto, so it's really between Price and Soto.
And as well, Mohamed Patel is on the back.
Yeah, looking up the inside into Stover.
Ooh, it's a nice, good option of lifting off and braked a bit early to avoid any contact.
So further back down the field, we've still got Justin Lindsay under a lot of pressure from Gorman. He's still 0.7 behind, so I'm not sure if he'll be happy with just sitting behind Justin, but
I think the only other bit of action that we may have coming up in the next couple of laps, so we have literally got 2 laps left to race now, is Alex Simpson is falling into the clutches now with his damaged car. back towards Isaac Price and Javier Soto there. So Alex is maybe going to be struggling a little bit to hold on to that 8th position that he's been in for the majority of the race now.
Alex's times have come down again though. He was doing 25s, he's now in the 24s, so...
Perhaps he's just had a little bit of a hurry up then, seeing that relative screen in his corner just gradually reducing.
And also probably learned how to drive the car a bit better with the damage.
Absolutely adding to it. Javier Soto is as close as he's been now so far to Isaac Price. They come into Stowe, so not close enough for a manoeuvre yet. But perhaps he is going to be able to get a run on Isaac and come in the very last laps.
As we are now on the final lap. McLean. Again, he's not seen much of the cameras this week, but he's 8 seconds up on Delaco.
It just looks like it's too easy for him, doesn't it? You know, so we need to try and make this a little bit more challenging for him in the next couple of weeks. But you're right, he's out the back of the circuit at the minute, halfway through the lap, and it looks like it's been very, very straightforward for him. Yeah, if he can get away cleanly on the starts, that seems to just be all over for him really after that.
Because the battle for the moment at the minute is the battle for, I believe it is for 8th. Alex Simpson's now is half a second gap now between himself and Isaac Price and Soto as well, as they are on the final lap.
Well, the cameras will stay on that battle for now then, and I'm just watching now Luke McLean as he comes out of Luffield onto the start-finish straight. So that's going to be the win number 2 for Luke McLean in our strength of field race that we've been winning. So
and
again,
Alex Simpson
nice
has
and straightforward.
Alex has made a mistake, and he's under the pressure of both Price and Soto, as both of them have got past Simpson.
Soto's actually through.
Wow!
Jumped up 2 there.
Well, and I think he made a little mistake, and Price has got back through.
Yeah, it's a very, very close running in. We'll run through the rest of that top 10 at the end of the race, and we'll just follow this battle now in those last closing laps. So I think Alex Simpson is going to struggle to get back onto those 2, but whether Soto can make that move back on Price again.
Question is, will he keep 10th place? Question, as he's under the pressure now.
Yeah, Soto got a very, very bad run into Abbey there. So Alex Simpson's up the inside into Bridge, side by side going through Bridge. Alex is stuck on the outside though, and it looks like Nukarinen got back onto the inside of Alex Simpson as well there. So that was Alex back down into P11. Trying to fight back though as they come Soto sideways. So lots and lots of action in the very last lap. So Nukarinen's got that little gap now in front. So
Alex has got a good run.
Oh, try side by side coming through the start finish.
He's done it.
He looked like Alex got it. Yeah, wow, what a finish. So 4 cars within just half a second or so, they're coming over that start finish line. Wow, lots of action to catch up on that very last lap. Wow. So just wait for the last couple of cars to come over before I run through the results. Make sure nothing's changed as we come through.
Yep, Justin did beat Michael to the finish line only just by about 0.3 of a second, so Justin might be satisfied with that performance today, but in his head I think he might be a bit disappointed with it.
Yeah, and so that is everybody across the line now. So let's just quickly confirm the race results after the slight drama then on that last lap. So Luke McLean, as we know, P1, 8.6 seconds in the lead. Max Delorco, P2. Stephen Michaels just closed on Max Delorco there in those last couple of laps, so he only ended up just 0.3 behind. Antoine Higelin, 32 seconds off the leader in P4. Jorn Jens, P5. Troy Schultz, P6. Marcus Caton, P7. And then really that's where all the action started after that. So Isaac Price, P8. Alex Simpson just scraped that P9 there with Eunice Nukarinen in P10. So there was, what are we looking at? Just over a 10th between them as they crossed over that start-finish line. P11, we had Patel. P12, Soto, so that's a shame. He lost a couple of positions down that last lap, getting sideways coming out of Priory. P13, Justin Lindsay. P14, Michael Goman. They were the last cars on the lead lap. Sam Kumo then was P15, Hugner P16, and Tommy Nielsen P17. Well, Dean, that was a lot more of an action-filled race than we had last week at Sonoma.
Yes, it was. A lot more action-packed, I would say, than Sonoma, or as you say, Sonoma.
Yeah, whatever I feel like on that particular moment. I think I think unfortunately with us losing the stream halfway through, I don't think we're going to get replays of the start, but we can certainly try and catch up on a little bit of the action that we had towards the end of the race there.
Yeah, as you said, there's a lot more action in that one. Shame we still didn't have a pit stop though.
No, I think after last week, I think the anticipation still was for us to be doing a one-stop here at Silverstone, because it was the slow speed nature of the circuit combined with that long pit lane. But I think unfortunately these races are just shorter this season. So it was a 35 lap race last time that we raced here in season 3, 30 lap race here today. So unfortunately that's just taken it out of that one-stop range, which really does take away an element, and hopefully that will get adjusted back for the next season.
So we're now just waiting for people to jump up into the ready for interview. Fingers crossed some people will come up.
Yes. So we've just got the replay coming up for the last lap now, so we can have a good look at what developed on the last positions of that top 10.
Yep, as we have someone in the interview booth, we have Alex Simpson ready to come up.
I think we're pulling up actually. I'll let him talk us through that one.
Evening, Alex.
Hi guys.
Not quite the race again that you were hoping for the strength of field tonight, Alex.
No, not really the race I was hoping for. It's good fun, right up until obviously the contact with Jorns, but.
What was your view of it? I mean, we've only obviously seen that one initial shot of it in our stream. It looked like racing instant maybe. It looked pretty fair going into the corner and just getting a little bit sideways coming out.
I think it was pretty fair. I mean, I wasn't sideways coming out of it. Just a bit bumpy there. Obviously, I was on the inside, took the curb. I was surprised to see him on the outside. To be fair, my view is that kind of through there, you would almost give that up. How I didn't smash into him, I have no idea. So, I mean, just a little clip, but it was enough to give me some wing damage. So, I think we were lucky both to survive that actually.
Yeah, and then due to that damage, just getting drawn into that battle for those last positions, top 10 that last couple of laps. That was an eventful last lap for you, Alex, yeah?
Yeah, that was. Do you know what? That was remarkably good fun. I thought it was all done and dusted. I was trying to hold. I knew if I perhaps had a second lead, I might be able to hold off. But as soon as they, 20k slower down the straights, as soon as they were on the back of me and they had the draft as well, there was no chance. But then I think Soto had some damage as well, so he was struggling with the car, and I thought Isaac nearly lost it at one point. So I might be able to get him, and then Mohammed comes steaming through, and so did somebody else, and they all lost it, and I went through the middle, and yeah, to only lose one place on that last lap, I was quite happy actually. It was good fun.
Good stuff.
So we lost the front of the stream, so I can't bring up anything from the start. But how was the middle of the race for you, Alex? Was it easy? Was it?
Yeah, it was pretty good to be fair. It took me a little while to get into my rhythm. I mean, I got a little bit of contact on lap 1 going into Vale, and it made the car just a little bit more loose going into the slow speed corners than normal. Didn't know if you saw that on the early going. I was really struggling going into Vale and into Abbey. The car was just all over the shot. It took me a while to get used to that. Once I got used to that, it was fine in the high speed. I was able to settle down, slowly work my way towards a pace, perhaps still 3-4 tenths off of what I'm capable of. But yeah, no, I mean, there was quite a battle in front, so I was able to hang on to them, and as that got a little bit more tense, I was able to get involved, and that's obviously when that incident happened. But in all, it was going all right up until then. I was hoping that they were going to battle, and I was going to be able to pick up some places, and I thought that was my opportunity.
Yeah, your fastest lap was lap 17, was it?
Yeah, just before
1:22.7, so
just before the crash. I mean, I can run 21.6 at the end, so I had pretty decent pace. But yeah, just didn't get the chance to show it.
With obviously next week is Motegi, Alex. How do you feel about that track going into it next week? Do you have any good confidence with it?
It's my worst track ever, so no confidence at the moment. I'm hoping the new build will change the tracks on their ends and what was my worst will be my best, and vice versa. Because Silverstone was normally pretty good for me, but I really struggled this week.
Yeah, this really seems like the most significant change we've had to the FW31 in a good few seasons, Alex, right, with the tyre model and the steering model coming in.
Yeah, it's almost like a reset, to be fair. Everything that I knew before, I've kind of thrown out the window. You know, only been doing the car for a couple of seasons while it's been that build, so I think some of the other guys might have had experience on like the previous builds, and apparently it was similar in some fashion to sort of season 1, I think some people were saying. But yeah, no, so the teams just have to reset and, you know, work hard and see what we can find. I think a few drivers still struggling with balance, and yeah, it's just some hard work's needed for the rest of the season, I think, and, you know, a little bit of luck also needs to come my way.
Yeah, luck indeed. So good luck for the rest of the season then, Alex. We shall see you next week, I'm sure, at Motegi. Hopefully it's not as slippery as we've seen before. And you have a stronger rest of the season from there.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Cheers, Alex.
So it doesn't look like anyone else has come to join us for interviews today. So perhaps that's going to be looking like us wrapping up our stream for today. Ryan, how did you find out watching your first strength of field race for the iRacing FLW31?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good race, I have to admit. I missed kind of a bit of the first start because I was just loading it up on iRacing, but yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, last lap, a couple of laps was pretty good with a good battle with Alex, Soto, to name a few, and Price. But yeah, it's pretty good, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season now.
And for us, Dean, it certainly felt like a much easier race to commentate on than last week at Sonoma.
Yeah, it was a lot easier with a lot more battles going on, so plenty of stuff to keep us busy. And thank you to Ryan, who jumped in to keep us in check with those little battles. So thank you, Ryan.
No worries, appreciate it.
And I'd just like to give a shout out to our sponsors. But firstly, follow us on Twitter at Apex Racing TV, as well as Facebook at /ARL-TV. I'd also like to thank GT Omega for the ultimate racing rig. They've been a sponsor of ours since we got going, I think, actually. So thank you very much, GT Omega. ARL, obviously, for being the founders of ARL-TV. Plenty of racing happening over at ARL, the V8s and the GP260s, which are also broadcast. And also thanks to Sim News Daily, keeping you up to date with all the sim news that's happening throughout the days and the weeks.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Dean, for keeping you company in the commentary booth. Thank you very much, Ryan, for being down in the pit lane and keeping us informed with anything else going on. As we've said, we'll be at Twin Ring Motegi next week in Japan, and same time again, 6 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, as I was trying to say last week. 6 o'clock next Sunday, Twin Ring Motegi. We shall see you all then.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels, including Logitech, Fanatic, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.